got diagnosed with MS in 2009 and I've gone from an extremely active lifestyle to one that's very sedentary really, and I'm now using a wheelchair most of the time. The practicalities of life, such as getting around and doing your shopping and going to your social activities, has been quite interesting. The wheelchair has allowed me a huge amount more freedom, but also motivated me more to get people on side to help me do what I need to do. With the shopping, I go to Booth supermarket in the town and I check in at customer services and they put somebody with me. So I've got a shopping list in my iPhone, they have a shopping basket with them, and we go around the shop and just get everything, whether it's on high shelves, whether it's putting things into bags, and then at the end of the shopping trip we go through the checkout, they put it through, and pack it into my rucksack and then put that rucksack onto the back of my wheelchair so we can come away. I recognised that as soon as I've got the wheelchair, I couldn't put the basket on my knee and fill it and reach everything on the shelves and reach things on high shelves because I was in a wheelchair. It was simple as that really. So I just asked them and they no problems, they were helping me. They're pressing the button to have somebody come to help me as soon as I've come through the door before I've even asked. So it works extremely well. The smaller shops where it's much more personal because you're dealing with the person who owns the shop, that's been incredibly good as well really. You know, they will do anything to help, whether it's just loading things into my rucksack, whether it's bringing things to me if you can't get in the shop to show me them. Langton's Fine Foods on Kirkgate, they've got a small step going in, so they've got a aluminium ramp which they put out. I can go into the shop and they obviously get things off the shelves, add it all up, they'll take my card out my wallet if I'm struggling with that, and they'll load it back into my rucksack and away I go again down the ramp and on my journey. So yeah, everyone has been extremely helpful. But I think the only issue has been that they don't know how to help you. They need you to be able to engage them for you to ask them how they can help you, and then they feel very confident about doing that. But they're very hesitant at first, a lot of people, about doing the wrong thing. So if you can tell them the right thing to do, they're very, very pleased that you've actually asked the question. We looked at the ramp access for Langton's, for example. I mean, they've put a small disabled sign on the door saying that there is the ramp available, and other people have used that to get in. So I think it's issues that I've got them to change to help me, but obviously because it's helping me, it's helping everybody else as well. So it's historic town is Ripon, and so there's a lot of old buildings. So there are steps into the buildings. They're not all like a modern city centre where it's flat access. So Langton's small step, a little 2-foot aluminium ramp gets it going. The butcher's, Andrew Schwarbrick, for example, his is on a very narrow footpath in an old building. There's no way he could get ramped access into there, but he'll just come to the door and I'll talk to him about things. He'll bring the bacon for me to see, and then he wraps it and brings it back out to me on the street and puts it into my rucksack. And also what he does now, he charges me on a monthly basis. So I only have one monthly bill to pay, and I pay that on my iPhone on a funds transfer basis. So I don't have to mess about with money and change in my wallet and every time I go to see him. To say the cathedral, I think their front door was £350,000 and it's got automatic opening doors, which is great. But so you go really for the full spectrum from the cathedral with the money they've spent down to Andrew just coming to help me. He'll even cross the road onto the other side of the street if I can't get down the narrow footpath. It will do whatever I need really, and it's just not a problem to him. The difference between the practicalities of life, of dealing with shopping and socialisation, become much more blurred because you're always having a chat with them about what's happening in the town, what's happening in their lives, what you're doing, discussions about anything that you would have with friends. I mean, they become part of your social life as well as the practicalities of dealing with your shopping experience really. I can't believe that people aren't going to be helpful. I just assume they're going to be helpful, and if they're a bit shy and a bit standoffish, then they just need engaging a bit more to give them the confidence to help you. I attend a physical and sensory impairment board in Ripon, which is a reference group for the county council, and there's a lady there that knows the council set up very well, so she knew that there was somebody that did small jobs. So I met him at the public toilet where there was a disabled access toilet, because I was having a problem with the strength of the door close. There was a big oak door and it closed extremely quickly, so I couldn't open the door, get my hand onto my control to go through the door before the door had started to close again. So you're basically wrestling with the door to get in. And I met him down there. He tried to adjust it. It obviously had water ingress and it couldn't be adjusted. So he bought a new one and it was fitted within a week. And now there is a slow door closer, which makes it very, very easy to access there, which is great when you need to go. You need to go. And if you're being delayed because you can't get in, it's not good news. So yeah, that was a very small thing, but he really reacted really quickly to that and understood, as soon as he saw me doing it, understood exactly what the problem was. When I first went to the PSI meetings, it was very difficult to see how this was going to make any difference because the decision making was so slow. I just thought it's going to be really difficult to do that. But then through working with the Ripon subgroup, and then with the Harrogate and Craven one, and then with the partnership board in York, that it's shown that there are people that work within the council environment that can get things done. And with, for example, that the door closer on the public toilet, very small thing, but we've managed to do that. When I was getting fitted for the wheelchair, you know, the design of the wheelchair and equipment stores was ridiculously bad for somebody with a wheelchair, which just seems crazy that it's been specified in that way. But as soon as we put an action together to get it sorted out, it really went to the top, and it's been sorted out very quickly. I think they were quite embarrassed by how bad a job they'd done initially by specifying it. So there are things that happen extremely quickly when they need to do. And I think what I've found is that you might have perceived to have a very small voice in a very big organisation, but you can make a difference. And I think it's hugely important that a big spectrum of people across any sort of accessible disability, whether it's blindness, partially sighted, whether it's deafness, whether it's like me on a wheelchair, there are all sorts of obstacles that people have to accessing buildings, to accessing services. And really through these reference groups, it's your opportunity to have your story heard and for people to understand how they can help you.